who also won 88 games, but they won 11 games in the postseason, and that's what you need to win a World Series title. Max Fried, 6 innings of shutout baseball, gives up 4 hits, turns over Tyler Matzik, 2 innings, 4 strikeouts, had the same line against the Dodgers in Game 6 of the NLCS, and then Will Smith, another shutdown inning, and the Braves shut down the Astros, and an improbable comeback by Houston as the Braves win it 7-0 to win their first World Series title since 1995. Let's welcome in 2 World Series champions. David Sampson won a World Series with the Marlins in 2003. Will Middlebrooks 10 years later with the Boston Red Sox, each winning a World Series in a Game 6. David, I'll start with you from a front office perspective. Alex Anthopoulos, if you could give the World Series MVP to him, you might want to do it considering what he did to construct this team as they hoist the World Series trophy.
So he certainly did a lot. He brought in some players at the deadline, but there's a lot of people on the Braves from the previous administration. It's my favorite day of the year, the clinching day. It brings me back to Game 6 in Yankee Stadium when you're counting down the outs, and that's exactly what the front office is doing. That's what Alex is doing. Congratulations to Terry McGurk, the president, the chairman of that team. Everybody surrounding the Braves organization. When you're counting down from 6 outs to 3 outs, you're hoping that it's not going to be like the Rays of last year where when they pulled Snell, gave up the lead and lost, this was pulling. He was unreal, Fried. He's not fried. He was unreal, but that back end of the bullpen was just too dominant, and the Astros hitters had no answers. And when that final ground ball goes to Swanson, when we look at that highlight, I remember so clearly the comebacker to Josh Beckett. He runs to tag out Posada, the way Swanson threw to Freeman, and you know that's it. There's no more outs, and you're going to get a ring, and forever you are World Series champions. Forever. Look what Freeman does. First, Swanson could have gone to second. He said, no, I want the final ball in Freeman's hands. He's our captain. He's our man. If he can't do it, no one can. Look what he did with the ball.
Put it in his back pocket.
In your pocket. Doma poche. That's where that ball is.
Speaking of pockets, knowledge in your mind, money in your pocket, you picked the Braves to win the World Series back in March, and you didn't know that they were going to lose Marcell Ozuna, Ronald Acuna Jr., Mike Soroka. They did. When they lost Ronald Acuna, Will, their odds were plus 4,000 to win the World Series, which is right around middle of the pack in Major League Baseball. If I had told you on July 11th, when Ronald Acuna Jr. tore his ACL in right field, that the Braves would win the World Series a couple months later in November, what would you have said at that time?
I would have said probably reevaluate your job in sports. Honestly, the belief that front office had, the belief that the coaching staff had in that team, when in most cases your best player goes down. Ozuna's out. That's a lot of offensive production. Mike Soroka's out with a re-torn Achilles. That's your best pitcher. Most teams pack it in and just say, let's retool and get ready for next year. But for the GM to make those moves and say, hey, we believe in what we have. We think we still got to run. We know the NL East is a little weak. We can make a run at this division and make a splash. That's a good GM knowing you don't have to be the best team to win a World Series. You just got to get hot at the right time. And he knew he had the right guys to get that done.
A couple of things to point out, however, is that the Braves did not take on a lot of money. The Indians paid the majority of the Rosario contract, and Duvall with the Marlins, and then you also had Soler from the Royals, but the actual Braves did not take on that much money, and they were in a division, the NL East, where nobody was good. So if there were ever a year for someone to go all in, and Will, you tweeted it, at Middlebrooks, great follow, if there's ever a time to go in and you're in the NL East, don't ever give up, because that division was there to be won.
Anthopoulos acquired 4 outfitters: Jock Peterson, Adam Duvall, Eddie Rosario, Jorge Soler. Eddie Rosario won NLCS MVP. Jorge Soler looks like the World Series MVP. They combined the 4 of them to hit 13 home runs this postseason, which is absolutely incredible. Will, when you saw Jorge Soler and he got moved up to the 2-hole on this night, what were you thinking? Like, hey, is this a good decision? What did you think when you saw that lineup change by Brian Snitker?
Well, Snitker's been pushing the right buttons all year, especially this postseason, But when you look at the lineup and the way it's made up, who hits behind him? Freddie Freeman, one of the best pure contact plus power hitters the game's seen in a long time. Then behind him, you have Austin Riley, who had an MVP type season on his own in the 4-hole. So he's got the protection. They don't want him on base. They can't pitch around him. They can't even inadvertently pitch around him and just throw him a lot of breaking balls and try to get a chase. You can't do that. You have to go right after him. And it forces them to throw the ball over the plate. And when you got a guy like Soler who can sit in there, he can hit fastballs, he can hit to right field, he can hit to left field, he can hit the breaking ball down. When you're hot, you're hot. And he was seeing a beach ball. And unfortunately, like I said, with the hitters behind him, they had to pitch to him.
He hit the first overall home run in the World Series, a leadoff homer in Game 1, had the go-ahead homer in Game 4. He hits an absolute moonshot here in Game 6 out of the stadium that was just hammered. And he's going to be a free agent. Also, this is his second World Series title, by the way. He won with the 2016 Chicago Cubs, who beat the Cleveland Indians after being up 3-1. He's just the 4th Atlanta Brave ever to homer 3 times in the World Series, joining Brian Klesko, Lonnie Smith, and the late, great Hank Aaron. And all 3 of Jorge Soler's homers put the Braves ahead. David, obviously, Brian Snitker pulled all the right buttons. They won the World Series. The one decision that we thought during the game that maybe would backfire was to lift Max Fried after 6 innings, because we saw it happen last year with Blake Snell in Game 6, but it paid off. As for Max Fried starts in this one, swings and misses, but I'll take you back to the first inning. He gets stepped on. His right ankle gets stepped on by Michael Brantley, and then he comes back and gets 2 strikeouts at the end of the inning. I mean, how incredible was that first inning, considered his ankle gets stepped on, and then he comes back, and his first strikeout is a swing and miss.
So what a disastrous first inning. First and second, no one out. He actually, on this play that we're showing, he's late covering first and he's not looking at the first baseman. The rule is you run to first looking and waiting to give a target to your pitcher, to your first baseman. Now, sometimes in spring training we say run to the bag and then give a target, but on this particular play there was no time. So it was a messed up play to start with, and then he got stepped on. I thought his leg was broken, like Morton.
Yeah.
I thought we were going to see a broken fibula, a broken ankle, and I figured he's probably out of the game. And instead, he came back, and that was it. They didn't score that first inning, and I said that may be Fried. It may be good Fried today. And then we saw more swings and misses, strikeouts, not solid contact. The Astros looked befuddled. And then all of a sudden, you get the Soler 3-run home run, and you could feel the stadium go pfft. And when that happens, you know the road team has a good chance.
Well, Dusty Baker was trying to win a World Series for the first time as a manager. He comes up short with the Houston Astros, now speaking at the podium in Houston.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.